Hello, my loves. Do you find yourself in a highly masculine profession and find it hard to switch from your masculine energy into your feminine energy before you go on a date, or maybe when you come back home to your partner? Or do you find that you have to take care of little children, or maybe you are in a caretaking profession which requires you to use a lot of your masculine doing, giving energy, and at the end of the day you find it really hard to switch back into feminine? If those are your struggles, this video is for you, because in this video I am talking about how you can learn to balance your masculine energy and your feminine energy, and you can learn to switch from your masculine to your feminine quickly and effectively. This is Dating and Relationship Coach Sammy Wunder, and my gift in the world is to help highly successful professional women find and keep amazing love. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, before we dive into the content, a quick reminder, make sure you hit the bell icon and hit subscribe underneath so that you get regular notifications when I create new content and want to send it your way. All right, so let's start talking about how to balance masculine and feminine energies inside ourselves. The first step is to choose balance. Everybody's talking about how to balance masculine and feminine energy, and yet not many people are picking up on the fact that choosing balance in the way we do life, in the way we do our relationships, is how you strike that balance between not going too much into your masculine and always having a way to return to your feminine energy. So let me explain. Do you get hyper-focused at work? So much so that you forget to eat and drink? Do you get so concentrated on finishing your masculine energy tasks? Maybe you're running a business, maybe you're an entrepreneur, or maybe you're working for someone else. But when you're at your desk, do you stop to eat and drink? Do you forget that connection with your body? If so, then you are being in hyper-focused masculine energy. And what you need to start aiming for is more balance. In other words, it's okay to be focused on your work, but what if you also decided to listen to your body when it said, I'm thirsty, or I'm hungry, or my eyes hurt, it's time for a break. Yeah? So starting to listen more to our body, even in the midst of being in masculine energy. So you may be taking care of patients, you may be taking care of little children, maybe you are feeding your little kid at home and you're feeling tired and exhausted. But what if while doing those things that require masculine energy, you still chose balance, which means you still chose to stop and have a drink of water. You still chose to stop and feed yourself. You still chose to stop and open the window and take a few deep breaths in so that you could connect with your body. So balance and seeking balance is the number one way we start to balance our masculine and feminine energies. So this is all about wanting success, wanting to be ambitious, but not forgetting that it's also equally important to come home, get in balance, and enjoy spending time with your kids, enjoy being present with your partner, enjoy making love, and having a whole lot of fun being present with your family. So seek more balance in your life in order to balance your masculine and your feminine energies. Now, tip number 2 is to take your feelings wherever you go. A lot of the times we are told that if we are high achieving women and if we're highly successful women, we should keep feminine energy for men and we should take our masculine energy to work. And I disagree. I think it's totally possible to be able to quickly switch from one energy to the next, and you don't have to leave your feminine energy behind at home or just for men. You can take your feminine energy to work with you by always being available and present with your feelings. Now, this does not necessarily mean that you have to start talking about your feelings or expressing your feelings in the boardroom and having a breakdown because you feel so intensely. This is not so dramatic. This is more about understanding that you're a holistic individual with both energies inside yourself, and that it's completely possible to be in a boardroom or a meeting or to be doing business and still being in touch with your feelings. You can feel your feelings, you can observe your feelings, you don't necessarily have to talk about them, but they can still be your guiding compass. They can still be there to guide you. They can still be there to guide your decisions. And so in this way, you're not completely breaking away from your feminine self. And when you don't completely break away from your feminine self, it's also easier to access that energy if you've had it all day long. If all day long you have stayed in touch with your feelings, even at work, then it's easier to bring that back to men, or it's easier to bring that back to our dates. Okay, so that's tip number 2. I believe very, very powerful. Take your feelings wherever you go. You don't have to leave them behind just because you're going to work or just because you're going to a masculine environment, which requires a lot of masculine energy from you. Okay, now tip number 3. This is very dating and relationship focused, but I like to call it, it's time to chill. Okay, so when you're stepping out of work, when you are stepping out of the boardroom and you are ready to go on a date, or you are ready to go back home and be with your partner, it's time to chill. Okay, now this means you're gonna take an action detox. You're gonna take a detox from problem solving. You're gonna take a detox from doing and giving and thinking, and you're just gonna chill because it's chill time. So many times I see that women carry the energy of work and do and fast and decisions and doing and giving and making things happen into their dates. And this is why they don't get to relax even around their men. They don't get to relax even on dates because somehow the energy is the same. And this is why it's so critical that you learn to differentiate the two energies. At work, you can be the giver, you can be the doer, you can be the one making things happen. But in love, remember, we want to practice polarity. This means we want to be able to switch into our feminine. This means we have to be able to stop the doing and the giving and the thinking and chill. Slow down so that our men can rise up for us, so that we can be the more relaxed, easygoing partner, and our men can step up and be in their masculine and sort of help us with the burden of doing things, of planning, of leading the relationship, of organizing, and then we get to receive from them. Which brings me to my 4th tip. Receive. Receive. All day long, you're the one doing and giving. Whether it's at work, whether it's taking care of your patients, whether it's taking care of your clients. Inside of your relationships, receiving mode on. Let men pay for you on the dates. Let men open the car doors. Let men do these things for you. Let your partner give you a massage. Let your partner bring you a tea. And all of this can happen when you create the energy of space, of chilling, of slowing down in your relationship or with the men you're with. Because when you create that space, that's where masculine energy can step up for you. Last but not the least, my final tip number 5, is to carry some kind of a charm or some kind of an object or some kind of an ornament that reminds you that it's time to chill and relax and receive. Yeah, something that gives your mind that signal that work is over, my time to do and give is over, and now it's my time to receive from men and the men in my life or the man in my life. Now, such an ornament can be a pearl bracelet. It can also be a nice jasmine intense perfume that you just smell, and then it relaxes your senses and it brings you back into your body, and it reminds you that now is the time you are going to embody your feminine girl energy inside yourself. Ladies, these are all my tips for helping you come into balance, no matter how much of a masculine job you have, no matter what a tough career you have when it comes to having to give and do and mother and being your masculine energy. Remember, feminine energy is inside of you. It's not something you have to work hard to achieve. It's something you return to. It's your safe haven. It's where you come, what you come home to. And all you need is, number one, to make a decision, to come to it, to relax into it. Number two is that you need to start being more friends with it so that you can carry it even to your work life and not have to completely separate yourself and completely separate your masculine and feminine. And last but not the least, create the space for your men to step up and give to you. I hope this was helpful, and if this was helpful, make sure before you leave you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that when I load new content, you get to hear from me and you get a notification. Leave a comment. I would love to hear back from you, and I would love to hear if these tips have helped you. And last but not the least, I would love to invite you to check out my Feminine Art of Romance course. It's a very deep dive course on embodiment principles of feminine energy, where I teach you how to release control, which is masculine energy. I teach you how to let go of attachment to outcome. It's going to help you if you often get very attached to outcomes or very attached to men you like, and then you feel those obsessive tendencies and you can't seem to sort of stop thinking about the guys you like, or you can't seem to stop wanting to control your man. This program is going to help you so much. I also teach inside of it how to open your heart to men, how to be emotionally safe for men and soften your edges, soften your mind. And I also talk about receiving at the highest level from masculine energy, men and the universe. So check the course out. The link is in the descriptions below. And I love you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.